Sparks flew in Parliament today as Labor accused Malcolm Turnbull of using police to bully his political opponents following raids on union offices. The Prime Minister reacted furiously, saying the opposition was attacking the integrity of the AFP. Here's Chris Uhlmann.
And border protection will resume in soon.
We have full respect for the integrity of the AFP, but no respect for the integrity of those opposite.
Labor should be ashamed of themselves.
It was an ugly day in Parliament.
Turning his back on blue-collar workers.
As Labor went on the attack over the federal police raids on the offices of the Australian Workers' Union.
Sent in the AFP to look at a 10-year-old donation to Get Up.
Labor boiled at an investigation directed at their leader, and the Prime Minister was furious at the charge he directed the police.
That is a shocking allegation.
Because the government can't direct the police, but there is no doubt its Registered Organisations Commission is hunting the opposition leader. When Bill Shorten led the AWU a decade ago, it made 4 donations of interest to the Commission: $100,000 to the activist group Get Up and $75,000 to 3 Labor campaigns, including $25,000 to the now opposition leader's own contest. Under investigation is whether the money was properly authorised by the union's executive. The Commission says it got a warrant for the police raids because it had reasonable grounds to fear evidence tampering. The police and the Commission are independent, but the government does have a hand in this affair.
But you asked the ROC to investigate this matter, did you?
I referred the matters, and that is a matter of public record. I believe I raised that in the Senate.
In calling on the raid, the Commission has fired a big gun, so it had better hit a target, because if it misses, its own credibility is on the line and it risks wounding the government.
Why won't this born-to-rule Prime Minister use his power to do something about misconduct at the top end of town?
Melbourne's greatest sycophant has raised the top end of town.
This fight has a long way left to run.
And let's go live to political editor Chris Uhlmann now. Chris, unions have taken urgent court action following the raids. How did that go today?
Well, it was a draw, Peter. The union wanted the raid declared unlawful and the documents returned. What it got was a freeze on the material being handed to the Commission, and the parties will return to court on Friday. If the documents are released, then it's the first step in a long journey towards the Commission proving Bill Shorten has a case to answer. If the documents aren't returned, it will be a humiliation for the Commission and a problem for the government.
Labor has accused the government of orchestrating yesterday's police raids on Bill Shorten's old union, the AWU, as part of a smear campaign. But the Prime Minister says the opposition leader does have questions to answer about political donations made when he was union secretary.
Malcolm Turnbull says his hands are clean.
Well, the AFP are completely independent, as Labor knows.
But Labor claims it also knows what last night's police raids on the Australian Workers' Union were really about.
An increasingly grubby effort by a grubby government and, quite frankly, a grubby Prime Minister.
The police seizing documents, some shredded, investigating donations made in 2004 when Mr Shorten was AWU boss, including $25,000 to Mr Shorten's campaign and $100,000 to Get Up, had been properly authorised, as the union claims.
The donation was approved. There was a discussion with our executive.
As the union challenged the raids in court, Mr Shorten, challenged by the media, arrived before the police.
I don't think the AFP told the media. I'm sure it was the government.
The Employment Minister denied it.
I can assure you that I found out about the raids as they unfolded on the television.
The Justice Minister, in charge of the AFP, dodged it.
It's not the government that needs to account for these matters.
Senator Cash asked the Registered Organisation Commission to investigate the AWU donations, having set the organisation up in August with Mr Turnbull, making clear who they wanted it to target.
Bill Shorten.
Bill Shorten.
Their last resort is to smear their opponents.
This all now hangs on the union producing a document proving these donations were duly authorised. If it can't do that, Bill Shorten's in big trouble. If it can, then this could all blow up in Malcolm Turnbull's face like an exploding cigar. Mark Riley, 7 News.